Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Bob here, and welcome to a Vegito guide I promised to do about a month ago, but haven't been able to get to it until now. But honestly, that might be for the better. So, what this is a comprehensive Vegito guide for fighters as of the conclusion of Season 1. We're not in Season 2 yet. The date is currently September 2018, so whenever this game gets updated, Vegito stats will probably be updated as well. So, the reason that I'm making this is because Vegito has been my dedicated point character for a good while now. I would say a couple months. As you can see down there at the bottom right, I'm Super Saiyan 2 and have about 340k BP. Enough, I would say, that I am passable and probably know what I'm talking about by now. I was going to start at Android rank, but you know what? This is probably for the better. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. Alright, so if you're watching this video, I imagine that some of you are either beginner Vegito players who are interested in getting it off the ground, someone who's interested in maybe picking up Vegito, or someone who is an advanced Vegito player and wants to, you know, refine your gameplay a little bit. This guide is going to be for all of you guys. I'm going to start from the bottom and work our way upwards. So, let us begin. By the way, this is going to be fairly unedited from this point onwards, so I just want to let you know, I'm going to be kind of spitballing things, but I hope to cover as much ground as I possibly can to appease all my fellow smug boy players out there. I love using Vegito so much. So, first of all, what does Vegito excel in? Vegito, particularly in the context of what he's built for, is a really good high damage character that excels in building meter, pressuring the opponent, and just kind of literally leaping his way into the opponent's space that he would probably want to defend himself at. One negative this comes with, unfortunately, is that Vegito has no beams to his name whatsoever. You'll notice that for all of his core circle forward moves, he has spin kicks, he has jumps, and he has a shield, and he has projectiles. These projectiles, unfortunately, are going to have one use and one use only, and it's kind of a gimmick, but you can still utilize it, just not in the way you'd probably want to. So that might sound like a bit of a pain in the ass, and in truth it is. That's not to say Vegito doesn't have approaching options. It just means that, like, at full screen, you can't really do this too reliably. I mean, granted, I did just turn this into a, I did not do a combo, but you're not always going to be getting this because, Vegito's core circle forward S, these attacks are weak projectiles, as in they're literally the same as, like, if you just press S with, like, Cell or something. It's not, they're really weak, even though they are special. You're not going to utilize this too much. The only way you're going to utilize this is in block pressure setups, which is really good, but not so much the case as trying to approach. For approaching tools, a lot of people say Vegito is able to operate as a solo character, and for that, I say absolutely. Like, one of the things Vegito excels at is you don't even have to really think, and you can get some pretty fucking beefy damage. Like, i.e. this bread and butter combo with him that's really easy to pull off. Then we go down, Excalibur Sword. Look at that, 5,500 points of damage. I barely had to try for that one. That is amazing. I guess that's another good point about him. I mentioned in his pros, he's really good. He has really good damage and good meter build. Part of that is because he has a really wonky combo starting. So normally with characters, you go light, medium, heavy, and he can't go medium, light. Vegito could just throws that completely out the window. You're able to go down, medium, down, light. You can't quite go heavy into medium. These are colloquially referred to as reverse beat combos. Adult Gohan has these under higher levels of transformation. Like, I think once he reaches level 7. And as of the recent balance patch update, Gold Frieza can also do this. But I feel like in terms of universally utilizing them, Vegito really gets the biggest bang for his buck. And part of that is because, as you guys probably know, when you do a combo starting off a medium versus a light or a heavy, it actually scales better. So if I were to start a combo with a medium, I can get 500k plus damage. 5,000 plus damage. Whereas if I were to actually start with a light attack, it might be about 4,400 maybe. That's how the damage scaling in this game works. But because I can lead in with a medium and then go light, I can confirm really easy. Like, Look at this. This is just so easy. I can just party however the hell I want. It's amazing. Like, just easy hit confirms are really good. That's another plus I'm going to give him. His hit confirming game is super easy. And part of that is because of his light kicks. His light kicks, some people list this as a negative, and I can see why, but I'm going to say it's not. When you press light with him, he does 4 hits automatically with this light barrage. And you know, a lot of people do have problems with this move, but I'm going to say this is not a bad thing. In fact, it is really easy. And part of the reason being is because if I were to set to the MA to random guard, I'm pretty sure that is the thing, yes. If I were just like, do this, I can just freely pressure him. I can do whatever the hell I want. So like, it's really hard to hit confirm off a light and into a medium, but considering how long the opponent is put into his block stun, yeah, I hit confirm that without even needing to go into the second light input. It's really simple. That's a really good thing about him. His light kicks are also really good for just swatting people out of the air if they do a Dragon Dash. This actually happens to me a lot online. If someone's like really trying to push their Dragon Rush on me, I can actually set them to do. Let me have them Super Dash. Yeah, I can just swap it. I can just swam out of the air easily. Let me do it again. Yeah, I have this sneaking suspicion that Vegito's legs have a distant 1 hitbox. That said though, it's because they're 4 really fast kicks, it's really hard to actually gauge the distance. Or not the distance, the speed at which they're coming out, so you can't time it. But if you're careful, you don't need to worry about it too much. So that's another plus for him. Really, really weird buttons. Which is a good thing, because that means he can confirm off a lot of different scenarios. Like, say for example, his S attack. Oh, look at that. I just converted into a full combo. No problem whatsoever. This is going to require a little more meter than usual, but you know what? This is fine. Knock him to the ground, switch to black. Easy stuff. Almost. That took a few bars, but you know, considering the rate at which Vegito builds bar, it's really not a big deal. Trust me about it. It's not a problem whatsoever. So, yeah. I'm going to say with that though, another negative is that he has no crouching light, or crouching low light. This is the thing that a lot of people are really vie for when it comes to online characters, or characters in general. The reason being is because, not black, so, the big reason being is that you can force the enemy into a lot of like high-low mix-ups. So if I were to approach with, yeah, this is what like opens up a lot of people. Empty jump, 2L, do 2 overheads into 2L. You can't react to this. So that's why a lot of people really want people with 2Ls. Vegito does not have this. However, that does not mean he's bad. That just means he has a different game plan of what most people usually work with. Reason being, it's because of this. This is his 2L. His 2L is probably one of the longest reaching normals in the entire game. Like, it's not Beerus 2M, but this is still pretty fucking good. Also, if I were to tag out Broly here, and properly time a 2M from him, so I can get the AI to do that. Ah, yes, there we go. So you see that, of course, his is a really long sweeping low. With Vegito, I can go right over that. Hell, even frames of his 2M goes clean over lows. Like, hang on. It does work at certain angles. Hang on. Nope. I know there's a way you can do this. Yes, that just might have been outspacing though. Okay, maybe that doesn't completely work all the time, but I've had it work in the past. Meanwhile, if you're to do that with this 2L, just cleanly beats it. I've confirmed this in the past. This is really good. Again, this just means that you have to use Vegito in a different way. He does have a low. That low is crouching 2M, or just 2M, I guess. It has a bit of startup, but the range of this thing is not to be underestimated. This hits from starting position, this hits from a little further out. I think it hits from full backdash away, actually. Alright, not that far, but considering where you can just randomly snag the tip of this, this is not bad. This is honestly a really goddamn good low. It's a little bit of a tell because, you know, he jumps in the air first before he does it. But, like, the animation is still deceiving because if you're to do this, there is a chance you can mix people up and confuse them with the star frames of 4M versus the 2M, which, I mean, this is still too fast to react to anyway, so no big deal. Yeah, so no 2L, but he does have really fucking good buttons. That's a general thing across the board with Vegito. I wouldn't say any of them have, like, disjointed properties like Goku Black's, like, 5H. But, I mean, it's not too big of a deal. He honestly makes up for this pretty well. Yeah. So, those are some really good points of his. Damage, meter build. I should actually give an example of his meter build. And most of his meter gain comes off of his Spirit Sword. You can do it... Spirit Swords that come out of neutral special in the air, which builds almost a full bar by itself. And 2S from the ground, which also builds almost a full bar. So let's see. If I were to actually have start this thing with no bar whatsoever, I'm going to assume some of you guys have ideas of where where your own character's meter gain lies. I'm just going to show you what Vegito gets. Look at this. So if I just do this, I've gained about almost a full bar just by doing one combo that's almost 5,000 points of damage. That is really good. And considering how good Vegito is at just picking pot shots from random places, and considering how much damage he usually gets off of, you know, regular shit anyway, yeah, Vegito's got really above average meter gain. The way I use Vegito is his positioning on my team is such that I'm able to use him, build a lot of meter, and then, like, whenever I tag into Goku Black, for when I do his bomb loop combos, which I'm still working on, he's got more than enough meter to work with. Hit used to be my mid character, but considering he still has the worst 2M in the entire game, yeah, I kinda dropped him. So yeah, I can be doing with Goku Black what Hit could be doing, but better. So yeah, yeah, sorry about that, guys. I apologize to all the 2 Hit players left in the world, but that's just where I stand with the character. Black just gets you way more, on top of having a better assist. I think I mentioned this. No. I did briefly mention this in passing, but one of the really good benefits of Vegito, he doesn't need assists, like, anywhere. He can be point character, he can be anchor, he can be even mid. Like, even as a mid, like, this shotgun blast style, Scatterfinger meme is really good. Like, even if it is a weak key blast, as an assist, it comes out supremely quickly. And Goku Black, for like his bomb loop combos, he can really utilize this. This is no big deal whatsoever. On top of, you know, Goku Black having both Vegito and Cell's assist is really good because Cell covers his approach. Vegito is able to really be good for block pressure and bomb loops. Both are able to combo into his bomb loop, so he can just freely burn a lot of meter to get a lot of damage off of this. You know, so on and so forth. Really, really good crap. So yeah, Vegito can literally be any position on a team he wants to, and just like get away with murder. It's amazing. And don't even get me started on his X Factor, pretty much. Sparking damage. Sparking damage, when you combine with his flexible supers. Oh yeah, that's another benefit of his, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Literally Vegito could be any position and exceed. He's like a worse version of Cell, but that says nothing about his utility. He's still really fucking good. So yeah, another benefit of his is that he has some of the most flexible supers in the entire game. And I know this in full knowledge that I have both Goku Black and Cell on my team. I'm just gonna be completely honest. I do believe Vegeta has some of the best supers in the game. Not necessarily in their utility, like having Bardock's invulnerability for his level 1. But he is still able to really push some damn good numbers. What I mean by that is he's never without an answer for what you want to do for a, super attack. So for example, he has level 3 that he can do both on the ground. I'm gonna power up a little bit. You know what? It'd be better if I just have a few bars on me. Let's go with 3. There you are. Okay. So you can do it on the ground, you can do it in the air, you have a level 1 super on the ground, you have a level 1 super in the air. The level 1 supers both do different things, but they are still really good in their own context. But I will say, this attack could be better. So I'll talk about that in a minute. Actually, I could just talk about it right now. No, I'll talk about it later. But his level 1 super in the air could be better. Versus Excalibur Sword, which if you do the right thing, can be devastating in terms of your combo damage. I'm not the best with this yet because I'm still practicing it. But like, you can do a lot of... You can pop off 2 Spirit Swords in one combo. And since if you're point blank range and you do this move, you have 2,500 points of damage stacked up with an assist, and you can do a pretty good amount of damage, I would say. Actually, I'm just going to quickly try this right now. Yep. Yeah, I'm not too great with that. I'm still practicing that, but I've seen people do it a lot of times before, and it's absolutely maddening what you can do with this. So, is there anything else for... Oh, yeah. He's also got a really normy air game, as in, he can do stuff in the air that no one else can even dream of. And I'm going to quickly explain why. Air S, Spirit Sword. Spirit Sword might just be one of the best aerial attacks in the game, and I'm not saying that as a bragging Vegito player. I honest to God think that. And part of the reason being is because this is both a great defensive play and a great offensive play too. So what I mean by that is, Vegito can just freely jump up in the air through a chicken block and do this. And the best thing is it just pops you up for free combo if you want to. Because you have to use your Dragon Dash in order to actually continue the combo, you won't get anything too amazing, but like, the things you can do are pretty good. Actually, I think I never tried out. What's this? You might be able to cause a wall splat with it, with the medium kicks. Yep, nah, I'm messing up combos. But you can see what I mean. Like, Spirit Sword has a crazy downwards vertical hitbox. If I were to get the timing right, yeah, like super jump. It still comes really close to hitting the ground. And then you would look at the 2S, it just... Broly's a big boy, and this just goes right over his head. This has a really, really aggressive hitbox or angle. And honestly, it's hell for bigger characters, because during your Blockstrings, you can do S into 2S, and you can get a lot of confirms. Also, this move is really good because you can do forward S and confirm into a big boy combo, and it's really good. Just like, hey, I don't feel like approaching to do with punish. What do I feel like doing? Forward S into this. No big deal. Yeah, Vegito's got really, really dynamic combo starts, and he can confirm a lot of things, either a lot of meter build or a lot of good damage, depending on how much you want to cash out. But what I would usually recommend is saving the meter for your characters in the back, so that way they can go ahead and do good shit. Also, his Air H has a really reliable lingering hitbox. Like, you can do a lot of bullshit with this thing. Like, really weird cross-ups if you have the correct timing, like that. This thing's just a really, really weird move in general. But it also plays into his 2S. 2S? 214S, that was it. And yeah, one more thing I'm going to mention for him is that I believe... So, a lot of people just call it a straight gimmick. I honestly don't believe so. I think this is a pretty good thing in his offense, so... We're just going to talk about it really fast. Vegito's flips. Most people consider this a gimmick. I personally don't. I think this is a really, really weird mix-up tool if you're able to utilize it correctly. So, like, part of why I believe this is because if you do even just a basic block string, you can do this. 214 light will swing you right above your opponent's head, and you end up right behind him. 214 medium sends you a little bit farther, has a little bit more range. You can do some more weird stuff with this. And heavy version, we don't talk about heavy version. In fact, I'm gonna list as a quick negative. None of Vegito's heavies are ever worth using at all. I'm gonna be completely honest. The only thing you'll ever consider using is maybe the heavy version of his flurry kicks. but it's only because of the increased range, and it has pretty good wall carry, like as opposed to everything else. Besides that, don't bother using the heavies with Vegito, they're not worth it. So yeah, I guess we can go ahead and just keep talking about this. So, with Vegito's flips, this offers some really weird left-right mix-ups. Generally in fighters, your mix-ups come from one of 3 different places. High-low mix-ups, left-right mix-ups, as in cross-ups, or your throw mix-ups. You can also do delay mix-ups, like the classic no mix-up that's from Tekken, but we're not going to quite talk about that. That's also getting into frame traps. So with Vegito, you have a really strong left-right mix-up, despite not having a good high-low one. I still believe he has a good high-low mix-up because the sheer reliability of 2M, but I'm not here to debate that really because, I mean, you know, crap. Alright, but you can use his flips in order to accentuate it. Anyway, so the flips can be viewed as a gimmick, but that's only if you don't cover yourself with an assist. So one of the frequent things about Vegito is that he really needs assists in order to cover this. Because look, I'm going above your head, I'm doing overhead attacks. Problem is, they're overheads. So what does that mean? Your opponent can 2H you if you're not careful. So what this means is that you really want to just condition your opponent, or not condition them. You want to have a beam assist. A beam assist, a lockdown assist like Yamcha, Cell's assist works as well, but you want to be careful that they don't get the reflect timing. Practice your inputs, and this will really help you out in the long run. They're really good. So, some of the potential you can do with the left-right mix-ups. First of all, Vegito has pretty good block range anyway because of this, but we'll talk about that later in the special moves. But, losing my train of thought already, goddammit. But basically, the left-right mix-up comes from this. Or, here's some examples. So, I make Broly lock. And I do this, have Cell attack, and now all of a sudden I'm on the other side. Which is pretty good. I'll talk about that, what just happened later. So, I can just make a stand on one side. If my timing's correct, I can go ahead and switch the other side. Switch. I can do one jab really low, and then when I touch down the ground, I can go ahead and go for a 2M to really make him think, because this is still really fast. Like, this is difficult to react to. In fact, if people can even react to it, or you can do 2 lights in the air, or you can do an overhead. You can do heavy in the air in order to keep them in block pressure, or block stun slash, you know what I mean. Frame advantage, maintain frame advantage, and you can continue your block strings. It's really good. Again, this isn't a foolproof plan, but if your timing is on point, you can actually bail out reflex and or 2H's, and you can empty jump it into throw. This is also a really strong potential in order to catch a lot of people. Something I see a lot of people online doing, even at Super Saiyan 2 ranks, is when I'm doing this block string, they'll attack Cell or Goku Black, and I'm behind them, and I hit him with 2L in the, or jumping line in the air. In fact, I can actually record Broly to do this right thing, and it's hilarious. Okay, so yeah, this is a frequent thing that happens. They'll start attacking Cell while I'm in the air, and I just come down from the other side with a 2L. It's amazing what you can do with that stuff. So, again, yes, you can, that is exactly what happens sometimes. Or, I guess that doesn't quite work. No, it does. Yeah, so, these flip mix-ups, again, aren't foolproof. You need to also predict if they're going to be guessing you're going to do a strike or a throw. And again, if you're not careful, if they were to start getting smart on you. Yeah, you can also reflect it 2M. Yeah, that's part of the reason why you use the beams to cover you, because you can cover a lot of options. Yeah, so good stuff. Now on to other stuff. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about what you want to be doing in a neutral game and what you want to be fishing for. So, I mentioned before that one of the things that Vegito really excels at is just picking up converting straight hits into really, not big damage combos, but respectably damage combos. So, for example, if I'm playing footsies with this Vegito here, if he just randomly pops out a move, I can do this. This is forward S, I believe it'd be 6S. So his special attack has 2 different ranges. Normal, which is point blank in front of him, and 6S, which is far ahead. This is really good because, as seen before, if you were to be hit by this, you can go ahead and convert into a full combo, which, I mean, it's not the biggest damage combo ever, but it is enough that is worth burning a little bit of meter and allows you to tag in your tag partner. Now, as stated before, one of the problems with Vegito is he has no way of just approaching using a beam. So he has a beam attack, so he can't do what Goku Black can do, where he can full screen hit confirm. I can't believe he got this combo the first try. He can't full screen hit confirm into a combo, but what he can do is utilize assists in order to make a safer approach and able to, if the opponent does anything, go ahead and rip some moves and go for some stronger stuff. I know it doesn't really make too much sense, but it's honest. He really does excel at just converting straight hits into really big damage. Part of that is because if your opponent does anything and like he just randomly jumps for some reason in front of you and he's trying to counterattack, you know, this is a really weird hitbox. You can get away with a lot of stuff. One thing I'm going to talk about is his 2H. I will be the first to admit, Vegito doesn't have the best 2H in the game, unfortunately. By that, I mean, it doesn't really advance forward. It's more straight above him. But he is still able to get some damage off this. Not a lot, but enough to consider maybe ripping it. So, go ahead, go for a super, and tag into someone else if you want to. A few points of damage. I will say that his 2H is probably better than Cell's, but not by a lot. It's still maybe worth using, so that's part of the strengths of Vegito. His lack of a really long-range move, plus the fear of God just converting a lot of your opponent's like punishes or mistakes into big damage, really makes him worth just fucking around in neutral. Again, Vegito doesn't have the best neutral, but he is able to, if you practice him enough, you'll be able to just like convert a lot of like dumb crap into super attacks. It's really cool. So yeah, I will give some dumb advice for approaching though, because you know, again, no beams besides this. He does have attacks that just lunge at the opponent, but it's nothing that's tricky. So something I would honestly kind of recommend that's kind of just for fun. Doing air kicks or doing the spin kicks in the air. This isn't the best method of approaching, but I mean, your other options are literally just like doing this and doing air dash, which not terrible, but I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. This can be used to evade some stuff though. Like if you're close to your opponent, you can do this to immediately be in his face. So yeah, again, if you're anywhere around here, you have access to at least 2 of your really strong normals. You can approach with this guy, which is also really good. Can convert into this crap, you know, so on and so forth. Vegito, in the mid-range, he's solid. He's really good. From over here, you're not going to be getting a lot. You really have to rely on assist attacks, aka beams, like Goku Black / regular Goku, in order to, you know, get to anything. So yeah, that's what part of the reason I believe Vegito does rely on assists, but only in this case. Excuse me, in this case. So in terms of other stuff in the neutral, I will say though that one of the reasons I have Broly on the enemy team right now is because he has one of the things that a lot of Broly players love to do, which is once you tag in, just immediately go with. Let me see if I can find it. I believe it's this one. Yes. Immediately going for his lariat, which is really dumb because it's safe on block. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's safe on block. And you really have to respect him. The problem is that this move has full armor on startup. So it's really hard to break that. But Vegito does have a way to break this. And it's with his shield. The questionable thing though is that you absolutely have to go for a Vanish combo. Sorry, I was focusing a little too much on the combo there. But basically, You can use a shield as a sort of option select against the opponent. Like if they do 2M, you can block it. If they go for this, it's still pretty good. A cool thing about this move is that it recovers pretty quickly. It's difficult for the opponent to actually punish you for it. Excuse me. So with that, you can this works especially well against like a Bardock player who really wants to start the game with like a Rebellion Spear. You can just shut him down with this. The only problem is that it's not incredibly fast, but if you're able to react to them just doing this, do not worry, you are able to punish them for free, and it's amazing. That was a bad combo, fuck. But yeah, that's a free trick for anyone who's having trouble with the Broly matchup for some odd reason, even though Broly is a giant tank. Okay. It's just one option for you if you want to punish people who are just throwing themselves at you. You can just do this and maintain relative safety. Not a lot, but enough to warrant going for it. So one fun thing I do want to talk about, which very big thanks to Rufomonger for helping me notice this, which is really helpful as a Vegito player, which I think is kind of underground tech, but I will show it with you guys anyway because this is pretty good. I'm going to openly advocate for Vegito players to use this. So I've talked about light kicks a little bit. Not light kicks. Spin kicks, I think it's called. I don't know. Machine gun kicks. That's what it's called. It has limited utility as a neutral move. It's okay for what it's trying to do. As like it's a really good wall carry tool. So if you want to carry opponents to the wall, this is a really good way of doing it. It's no effort whatsoever on your part. So how can you utilize this move as an actual attack? One thing I would recommend doing is if you ended up having your opponent blocking a 2M into this, what you can do is you can end a combo with any version of the machine gun kicks. So what I would do is this. You'll notice that there's a good amount of pushback, and when the Broly goes to jab, there's a fair amount of space between us. Ooh. So what that means is that depending on the range, if you're able to calculate it fast enough, you can, and depending on what move they do, if they jab, you can go for this. If they stand, or if they go for medium that advances them forward, you can do this. To put this into, to just show you a more practical way of doing this, let's go ahead and actually have them block it. Oops, that was not the right move. Again, too much of a delay. Oh, come on. There we go. So because I don't think, so one of the benefits of being a Vegito player, and this is unfortunately by technicality, is that I have run into many people online / in person who say they have no idea how to fight Vegito because they never fought Vegito. As in, there are very few Vegito players out in the world. And I can understand why. He's not an easy character to use. He's really wonky with, you know, the non-traditional 2L, the non-traditional 2M, how his combos work, etc, etc. I use him because he's smug as shit and he's really fun to use for combos. And he's flashing. I like that. So one of the things you can totally get away with, if you get your opponent to block a spin kicks / machine gun kicks, is there's pushback on block. Now, one thing to keep in mind is there is no pushback at a corner. It is safe on block against characters with slower jabs, but you don't want to use this in a corner ever. It's not good form. So what you can totally do is get them to block this, and if they don't know the matchup and they try to swing thinking they can punish you, you can just go ahead and do this, which is really handy. / you can do something dumb like this. I subtly think that this might actually be one of Vegito's best moves, but I have no way of really quantifying that. I feel like he has other moves that are better, but this is still a really good strategy of just messing with opponents. Like, you want to force them to stay and block. Like, utilizing assist correctly and getting him to stick out limbs is one of the best ways you can possibly use Vegito, especially because he has such long range limbs. Like, he has them, to quote Eris, he has them dancer legs, I guess is a good way to say that. As in, he's just able to catch a lot of crap. So, yeah, if you want to mess with people, you can go ahead and do that. So, pretty good. Now, another trick for all you aspiring Vegito players, and this is, again, tech thanks to Rufumonger, he actually really helped shape up my game plan for Vegito when it came out, is getting plus frames off of this. So, I imagine Shotgun Blast is not that great of a move. I can just openly illustrate how this isn't that fantastic of a move by having the AI just super dash right towards me regularly. In fact, I think I'm going to pull it up. Yeah, you can see Broly just armored right through that. And it's not because he armored regularly, like because he's a big character. But no, it's generally because it does have a lot. The projectiles are weak projectiles, like regular Ki Blast, and they're going to get deflected. So, what do? This move isn't great for an approaching tool. It's not even great for a defensive play, really. So what you want to do is, because of the way the momentum works in this move, like if I were to Tiger Knee the attack, you'll see that, oh, hey, he goes up really fucking far in the air. What do I do with this? I can do some really weird crap with it. So, normally when you do the ground version, it catapults you way up in the air like this. And that's not really doing anyone too many favors. It's like, I can use this to escape like dangerous scenarios, but I can also do this. And if the opponent also happens to jump while I'm doing that, if I can go ahead and get the AI to actually jump, jumping, there. I can just freely snag him out of the air. And because of the command grab, yeah, no, they're not escaping this. This is a really good, just like, way of just getting them out of the air and just keep them on the floor. It's really good. So, anyway, back on topic. What do you do with this move? Well, I mentioned his 2H not being great, but what you can do is you can do 2 moves in tandem with the Shotgun Blast. I'm just going to call that from now on, Shotgun Blast, in order to make this really, really viable. So 1, Spirit Sword, Shotgun Blast. Because of the way this recovers, because you bypass the momentum carrying, like this would normally entail, you are left hideously good plus frames. Like, if I were to have the AI try to counterattack, they'll set the AI to counterattack when they're not in block stun. That should work. Well, I guess that's, well, okay. Hang on. There is a small gap here, but like it's so fucking quick. Like, it's not going to be something they really want to try to do. And because Spirit Sword and all, it does build a little bit of meter too. So, but this does cause some really good push block, or not push block, frames, block stun. Another good way to use this is off 2H. The way it actually carries your momentum is really good as well. The problem is that if you do this, your opponent just blocked a 2H, which is, there's only so many things you can, as a player, you can do at this point. Which you can do the spin kicks, but I mean, question mark. But the way the momentum is carried, you are still in plus frames. Now, don't abuse this, but you can totally use this if your opponent doesn't know the matchup at all. You stay in plus frames, and you're able to really get away with murder using this method. So, the Shotgun Blast is good for weird momentum swings / good blocks, plus block setups. What the hell am I saying? Block stun setups, that's correct terminology. And you can just really mess with people using this. So, to put together some things I've been talking about so far, if you were to get your opponent into a block stun, suddenly they have a few things to worry about. You can go into the machine gun kicks in order to push them out, and you have the whip punish with the S to worry about, and then you also have that wasn't it. And then you also have crap. I am getting tired. What am I trying to do? And then you can also make them worry about being in these kinds of really, really ambiguous plus frame setups. So. Yeah, this is really, really scary if your opponent's on the defensive. And then if you want to, and then the third route is, doing your 3-way mix-up out of this, as in, you jump behind them, do 2 overheads into a low. You can do 1 overhead into a low if you delay enough. If you delay enough. There we go. Close enough. You can do this into an empty jump into a throw. Or maybe your opponent's like trying to jump, and you can totally just snipe him out of the air with your own stuff. I'm gonna maintain Vegito has some of the best airplay in the game, as in he's able to mess with your opponent a lot. He's able to control space in the air well, but not on the ground. That is where he does, unfortunately, suffer a little bit. Now, let's go ahead and do some really weird blocks situations with Vegito. So, you have a few options that you can work with. You can do S into 2S, you can end this into a shield if you want to. You can go 2S, beta punish, and then go into shield. You have a lot of things to work with, and remember, this is all backed up by your assist covering you. So, needless to say, your opponent has many different things to worry about if you're playing as Vegito. But this is not all perfect. Again, some of these can be beaten out by Reflect. So, keep in mind, you always have your throw options in mind, and just based on like the sheer amount of offensive presence he has with just like jumping and then easily hit confirming into more shit, your opponent is always going to be on the defense if you are pressing them like this. Now, one thing I do want to really quick talk about, backpedaling onto the 2H shotgun blast idea. Remember that the opponent can Dragon Dash through this. They can, but it's not easy. This is a really strange beast, to be sure. So, again, they can do that. But here's the thing. Dragon dashing recklessly against Vegito is not recommended. Especially because, again, if they want to hammer it out, you can just go into a number of other things. Like 2H or something like that. You can just empty jump and... well, not empty jump them, but like... you can't quite do that in time, though. You do have options out of this. I assure you guys, you really do. Excuse me. Ooh, that actually works. I actually didn't try it before. Interesting. Ooh, that does beat it. Nice. Alright, but, again, you do have ways of actually counteracting your opponent if they know what you're going to be doing. Now, because this is an AI, they're doing it frame perfect. But if the AI is even a frame or two late in order to Dragon Dash through the shotgun blast, it's not going to come out. As in, this gap is really narrow. Like, if you were to watch this in super slow motion, you can tell that they have very little opportunity to actually do this. So this has to be a hard read. Like, there's no way they can just like fish this out and just go for it. So again, if they try to Dragon Dash recklessly, again, you have assist behind you in order to cover you. It's yeah, they have. It's not easy for them to actually go ahead and do this. Actually, something I'm curious about. You can kind of use that to escape. I'm curious about actually. Huh. I wonder if that actually does work. 2H in the air actually working as a anti-smash move. That was not a thing in before the Evo update, I don't think. I'll have to look into that sometime. Anyway, yeah, so there are ways to easily fish out your opponent's counterattacks. Vegito is not left with any shortage of options. And again, if worst comes to worst, you do have shield. You can also block this. I swear to God you can. I'll have to refine that a little bit later. But no, you do have ways to beat out Super Dash. I just have to look more into what you actually have to counter it. But you do have ways to beat it. So yeah, pretty good stuff. So now we're going to go ahead and get into the fun stuff with Vegito. And this is where probably a lot of people are going to be tuning in for, which I don't blame you. Vegito's combo game is really, really super fun, and I'd really recommend learning him just to try this stuff out. So some of the, again, like I've said before, some of his limbs have really long reach. He's able to easily punish a lot of what the opponent does and convert it into really, really high damage. So for example, if I were to do 2M, I can easily confirm it as a 2L, light, medium, special, Dragon Dash, light, medium, special. Of course, I can forward medium kicks, or go into this. And congratulations, I just did a monstrous amount of damage. If I burnt a little more meter, then I would be able to actually, not necessarily put him in kill range, but I would be really, really close to it. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to modify his combo a little bit. You can see I have 4 bars of meter to work with right now. I'm going to vanish. Go for Spirit Sword. Go for Cell. The advantage of all these characters is that they keep the enemy relatively close to you. That's 6,700 points of damage right there for an easy mode combo. That is not too shabby. Now, unfortunately, Vegito's plays are going to be a lot in the air. I guess I didn't mention this in the pros and cons sections, but for his combo game, it's really difficult to bring your opponent back down on the ground easily. One of the reasons being is because of the way his light, medium, heavies in the air work. Like, this is his light all combo. It just knocks him away without much ceremony. Or unceremoniously, I guess is a better way to put that. And light, medium, heavy does the exact same thing. It doesn't knock your opponent to the ground, and it causes a knockaway. So what do you do about this? Well, what you generally want to do is his air throws. His air throws will bring your opponent back down on the ground, and you can set him up for some good situations. So the way you generally do this is you do 2H in the air, since this is not a character's traditional 2H at all because it knocks him away. I believe this is similar to Piccolo's, if I'm not mistaken. So you do 2H, and then you do the medium version of the throw. The reason you do the medium version, not the light version, is because, gonna be completely honest, the light version is pretty useless. The light version will still cause a flip out. Let me actually show you an easy mode combo and illustrate this. There we go. However, the problem is it does not cause a slide. That is a big issue, considering that the only way you can combo off one of the throws is to use medium version, and to do the medium version you have to go into 2H. So it's really difficult to do low altitude juggles with Vegito, unless you do something weird like this, and then you knock him away to corner. I've seen someone do this before, where you knock him away into corner using light, medium, heavy, and then you beam after them, and then you chase them, and you're able to get a free wall juggle. That's really about it. The only character in the game who can really synergize really well with Vegito for his combos is Gotenks. And while I do like Gotenks in this game, I would not learn him specifically to do combos where Vegito already has really good combos that are meter efficient and don't really cost anything. So I mean, that's kind of not what I'd really go with for him. So again, he has different combo routes. I would say an easy mode combo with him would probably be this. Easy Dragon Dash, 2H, and the medium. 40-50, and then after that you can do whatever you want. Now, a cool thing about Vegito is that when you get the slide knockdown, you can do a number of different things. Like, as mentioned before, he has an air special that just dives right after the opponent. 2,100 points of damage. Now, this does have a drawback though, and it has a bit of a severe drawback. What I'm talking about is that so pay attention to when I do the move. I'm just holding back. For the time I actually start backdashing or walking backwards, that's how long it takes for you to recover from this move. As you can see, the opponent is already recovered, and I'm still recovering. So this move is good for easy cash outs on damage. However, you have no pressure here whatsoever. That's why I recommend, if you do this combo, GHC into someone else who can get better pressure. Like Goku Black, Cell's barriers, etc, etc. Yeah, Vegito doesn't have the greatest Oki off that move, but it is still an easy mode combo if you just want to, get free damage. So the combo you want to be doing though is Spirit Excalibur. This move is kind of nuts. So first of all, the move from a distance, it has like this weird hitbox thing where it does more hits up close. So from max damage at full screen, from full screen it does 20-40 and only 2 hits. If even that. It varies sometimes. However, if you do it point blank, it does 5 hits, 25-20. So significantly better. In fact, I would highly advocate for doing that move like a lot. It's really, really consistent in the corner. But the problem is it's only in the corner that's consistent. Because, full screen, you might as well just do this. Because you'll get slightly more damage. So, yeah, that's a thing. So, yeah. In terms of the rest of his combo routes, again, you have a hell of a number of ways of actually getting not only confirming into combos, but good methods of converting into combos. So like I mentioned before, air special is a good chicken block option. You can use it defensively, you can use it as a good whip punish. If someone's acting full rushing at you, you can just do this. And then go into this, and then special. Slash super, slash what I want to call it. It's really, really good. For just picking up straight hits. It makes your opponent really second guess themselves about just like pushing an offense. So if they just try to run up to you and put you a block stun, just jump back and do this. This move, I mentioned the thing before about there being very limited Vegito matchup knowledge in the world. This really screws up a lot of people. Like, I have gone away with death with combos for free, just doing this repeatedly against your opponent because they have no idea what this does. It's so good. It's so good, guys. It's so good. Even at higher levels of play, I can see this being a really, really handy move to just like snatch people out of the air, or snatch people on the ground. It's really good. And you have the ground version, which also converts into a full combo. One thing I will say though is that you can still pick up some good combos off the machine gun kicks. So one thing that is really good about his combo routes is that if you do the medium version in the corner, you get a wall splat, which allows you to do really cool stuff like this, and then just continue combos for free. There's just one combo with Vegito that can do upwards of 6,000 points of damage, but I don't remember offhand, and it's not that easy. But even this itself is really, really solid. And again, this move is generally safe on block against slower enemies, or if your opponent's asleep at the wheel, you can easily block confirm this and just have someone do an assist. It's really, really handy. I would highly advocate for that. So one of the reasons I do love using Goku Black and Cell is that both their supers are really flexible. I mentioned before that the air version of this, it's generally better to just DHC into your other characters and just go for it, or just like get free damage. It's really good. Free pressure. You can have characters recover blue health when they tag out. If you want to keep Vegito for later in the match, it's really good for doing that as well, which I do recommend because Vegito can really help you out in a lot of situations. It's really good. So in terms of his level 3, this move is also really good for snagging a lot of good damage. So if I were to do this and not go for the DHC or the Vanish combo, I can still catch out some pretty good damage. In fact, I messed that up, but I still got good damage. Let me actually do this correctly this time. Get the fallen splat and good. 50-100 damage, we're not really trying. And considering how easily Vegito racks up good damage, it gets even better. So one bit of advice for Vegito doing combos at the wall. I've mentioned that he has a really weird light, medium, heavy in the air, but if you were to do this, if you were to keep him at the wall, you can do the light, medium, heavy and still get the good combos. You can get slightly higher damage combos in the corner than average, is what I'm trying to apply with that. So, for example, if I were to do various... Why are you still awake? Depending on what I'm doing, I can squeeze in light, medium, heavy, slash light in the corner all day, and I can just get a lot of free damage. It's kind of like Frieza with his air S's in the corner, where you can just keep your opponent there for free, and then you can extend. It's very similar for Vegito. He is able to keep your opponent in the corner and just rain down a lot of damage. And considering the fact that, you have Spirit Excalibur, yeah, the damage starts to add up pretty big. So I'm going to give you a fairly advanced Vegito combo. It's not difficult. It just requires a little bit of timing. So let's give it a shot. So I wasn't quite able to do the really good combo version, but I still did 6,300 points of damage solo with one Vanish and a level 3. So considering the amount of meter you're able to build off of that and how resourceful it is, yeah, I would say it's pretty good. So, yeah, Vegito is able to do a lot of stuff with that. One thing I'm also going to advocate for is I'm going to quickly emphasize his sheer obscene wall carry. Like, look at this. I am taking him from one wall all the way to the other wall. I literally just took him from corner to corner. Very few characters can actually do this. Like, this is really insane, and for the amount of meter you build as well, this is not bad. In fact, this is why I would say generally his bread and butter combo, at least for doing decent stuff. Oops, I'm missing out again. But you get what I mean. His combo routes are very, very fucking good. So I was going to talk about his mix-ups, but I think I accidentally squeezed that into the neutral section. But considering how good it is otherwise, yeah, no. His pressure is still extremely good, so no big deal there. But yeah, in closing, Vegito's got a lot of good stuff. Like, he's a bit of a trickster. He's got a lot of really good stuff. He's got a lot of really good tools. A lot of people write him off immediately because he's got gimmicks. He isn't able to really. He can't really mix up your opponent because he doesn't have a crouching light. His 2M is slow, and you know these are fair points to a degree. But you are really underestimating him if you think that you can just write him off entirely and be like, Vegito's never gonna get anywhere in tournaments. He can't even do basic mix-ups. He has to rely on gimmicky flips. And while those flips do require setup, I'm not denying that. Truth be told, Vegito is a bit of an oddball. It requires some experimentation, but I guarantee you that once you're able to pop some really fun inverted combos and able to go into Final Kamehameha, you got a really fun character on your hands. I will honestly say that I personally believe Vegito is a really good point character, and I would recommend to keep him on point, only because you have your assist to back you up. He can still use sparking if he wants to really get some solid damage off. Unfortunately, don't ask me for sparking combos because I don't know any yet. I'm practicing those. But for the most part, yeah, Vegito is really good. Not perfect. He's still relatively mid-tier. This recent balance patch did increase the stop frames for his barrier, which, I'll take that. That's not a bad improvement. He still has one of the best chicken block punishes and options in the game with just jumping back and doing ass. He still has really good wall carry. He's got good combo damage himself. He's got good meter gain. Fucking good meter gain, actually. My god. I hope Arc System never takes away his meter gain. This is just too fucking good for what he's able to accomplish. Yeah, and I still wish that he did have a true beam or a true crouching low, but or crouching light that's low. But for the most part, yeah, Vegito is really dangerous. Disjointed hitboxes, a good size normals, chunky stuff that he can do without worrying too much. I will quickly note that I find it weird how his air medium has a weird upward hitbox that will miss a lot against Gotenks and Kid Buu. I've had it happen before. That's why I generally stick with light or air heavy. That's just me personally though. Another thing I want to note is I'm not sure if this is a positive or a negative. Take it as you will. But despite Final Kamehameha's flexibility of being able to be used in the air and the ground, I think it might have slightly lower damage as low as 3 than average. I say that because if you do it against a character, it generally does about 4108 damage. Cells is relegated specifically to the ground, but this will have higher damage than that, like on average. I think about 4200. 4108? Oh wait, I thought they did more. I know one of these did more. Let's see if Goku's Blacks does it. Go down. Huh, that's weird. I remember seeing that Vegito level 3 did slightly less damage than other people's. Then again, that was before the balance patch, so maybe they changed that. It was a phantom adjustment. I don't know. I remember that being a thing, but I guess if someone else wants to look into that, they can. I don't know. Question mark. All right. So, in closing, actually, really quickly, I do want to say that while Vegito does work well by himself, I will also say that it's ideal for him to actually have assists backing him up because, you know, you cover your flip options. Actually, I want to mention something really briefly before I end this. You have your really weird options out of this. However, I didn't mention that there is a possibility to actually double cross up. This is really hard. Even I can't do this, and you can get double cross ups with Vegito if you want to be really, really weird with them. Take it from me, this isn't the most optimal thing in the world, probably because. So let's say you do get the random like stray hit on a double cross up. It would be like, yeah, you just put like your opponent in an 8-way fucking guessing game with Vegito for what they could possibly do. But the problem is, this is not only insanely difficult with the timing, it's also contingent on the fact that you know that you have the exact game plan, what the hell you're trying to do. If that makes sense. This might work better with an air jump, but you're not doing air jumps with block stun, or if you're in a block string. So this can be possible. I wouldn't recommend it. But if you want to be weird and you want to do like some crazy Vegito shit, yeah, I mean, that actually worked pretty well. Hang on a sec. Maybe. Someone can probably find some good use for this. I'm gonna wait for future tech to really dive deeper into this, but for the most part, yeah, this is a thing. I guess something dumb you can do is do a level 3 super in the air or something if you know your opponent's gonna do something dumb, but I don't recommend that. I generally recommend it to just keeping Vegito to his what he's really to like his core like 4 option rotation between, you know, empty jumps, 2 overheads in the air into a low, 1 overhead in the air into a low, empty jump in general, or nothing into a low. Those are generally going to be your best options. Yeah, I am pitching the idea out there though that if someone wants to master the idea of like fucking double cross ups with them, it is a thing that can be done. But I think Android 17 might be able to do that, but better. Like, this can work, but you have to have a really good timing. Like, my god. Yeah, no. That is gonna be exceedingly difficult for Vegito players in the future. But anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed this. That is most things that I know about Vegito. One final thing I do want to mention though, even on block, Spirit Sword still gets a lot of block stun. Or block stun. That's a dumb way of putting it. It still gets a lot of meter. Like, you can see, even just having it blocked, it builds about a third of a segment of a bar. So yeah, pretty good. And the Spirit Sword gets blocked, you still have a number of options like Dragon Dashing, light kicks. Even if they do block it, it's completely safe. So, you know, what the hell ever. I mean, you can also do this for plus frames. Yeah, again, he's got really good air to ground options. He's got really good air options in general. I guess this completely hard beats Dragon Dashes now. That's good to know, I guess. So yeah, hope you guys have found this informative. Depending on the reception, I may do one for Cell, although I imagine there's plenty of Cell guides out there already that are more useful for you guys, but I can make one if you guys request it. Maybe one for Goku Black and Hit, I don't know, it depends on what you guys want. So anyway, catch you guys later. Peace.